At the end of each quarter, there are specific tax-related reports you should print for audit trail purposes and for submission to the appropriate agencies. Some of these reports are not available after closing the quarter, so it is important you print these reports before closing the quarter. Usually your hint is that quarter is part of the name of the report. And we're going to look at those firstly, which is the quarterly tax report, which happens to be under the reports menu. This report produces a summary of each employee's wage and tax information for the current quarter and year for each tax jurisdiction. You can see you can print only federal information, you can print only state information, you can specify a state, you can print it in detail, you can even print a range of employees. I'm going to go ahead and double space this to make it a little easier to read. When this is printed for the fourth quarter, all employees with any earnings for the year are included on the report. You'll see firstly we're seeing federal information, and we see by department because this is how this company is set up. We see taxable wages, both employee and employer, and we see the taxes withheld. We also see the days and weeks worked for the quarter and the year to date. Federal tax information will always print first, and then it will be followed by state, and then if you have any local entities that you need to report to. If your payroll is departmental like this one, subtotals are provided by department. If I skip to page 15, I know there's state information there. You can see how state information is reflected. Also, again, it's by department. When SUI state codes are used, SUI wages are included in the gross wages amount. The state total amounts print on the final page of the state report and reflect the sum of all states for which there are wages recorded. You'll notice that on this sheet, as well as the prior federal sheet, the last column shows variances, and this may be that there was a manual check calculated and there's some differences between what the system calculated. Now, if you find a discrepancy for over withheld taxes, that can be fixed, and there's knowledge-based articles about it. It really depends upon if the check has been distributed or not. So here we're seeing our totals by department. If I go to the end of the report, we'll also see, again, since this is the last page for this department, we see department totals. We would see each individual state totals, and this we only have the California state, and then we'll see totals for all states. Another quarterly report that purges at the end of the quarter is the quarterly pay period recap, and that's also on the reports menu. This report produces a recap by pay period of wage and tax information for all pay periods processed during the quarter. You can see you can put it in summary or detail. The report lists regular and overtime hours, wages, tips, FICA, Medicare, disability, EIC, local, employee SUI, net payments, period, and quarterly totals. The pay period information is provided in detail by department, or if you like this one, or if you do it by summary, it will be by pay period. Printing the report at the end of each pay period and before quarter end processing could provide a useful period summary of payroll tax deposit information before printing the quarterly 941. Under the period end menu, we're going to first look at the quarterly governmental report. This report can be a guide to produce quarterly income and tax information to submit to various governmental agencies. When it's printed for the fourth quarter, all employees with any earnings for the year are included on the report. This form is not required by the federal government, but it is helpful, or it could be helpful, to complete state reporting requirements, especially as it relates to unemployment and weeks worked.